Good day, everybody. I hope everybody's having a great time today. I want to go on another adventure with you guys, but this time, we're not going to go and look for the volume of a regular solid object, such as a box, or anything that's square, or a book, or anything like that. What I want to look for today is the volume of that irregular solid. Now you may be thinking to yourself, man, Mr. Paris, what is an irregular solid? I don't know. That is any object that can't be defined easily by that simple formula, if you look above, of length times width times height. Alright? So any kind of irregular object is anything maybe that's round or something that doesn't have that definite defined shape, such as a rock or a pebble. But we still need to find that volume. So if you look right here, we're going to go into how you can solve it. And there really is no specific formula like with finding a regular solid object. This is going to use a little more science involved. So you can take that fun little ruler and kind of chuck it, because we don't need it. Not for this one. We have a different tool. This, and you guys have learned about it, is called a graduated cylinder. Ta-da! Now, if you look very closely, it has a very solid solid platform at the bottom, and then it's very tall and skinny. Now, this is just one example of many others, but the most important part is that it measures volume. That's its purpose. And it has these numbers along the side to help measure that volume. So if you guys notice, this is a very small cylinder, but this is the one that we're going to use today. And if you would like to measure stuff, this is the tool to use. Now it also comes in various sizes, so that way you're not just stuck with, oh man, how am I going to fit a marble into this small thing? But this is the type of tool that you want to help measure. Now if you notice, I have my green lantern ring. That's not a regular shape. I can't really get a definite height or width or length out of this. So I would have to use this or a tool like it to solve how much volume is in my most powerful ring right here. However, this is not the right size. So I'm not going to worry about finding the volume of my green lantern ring just yet. I do however, have some fun little tools as well. I have a little Lego head, I have a bead, and I have a little more tiny, like this little unicorn horn right here from Unikitty from the Lego movie. Okay, so what you're going to end up doing for this type of experiment is you're going to fill up your graduated cylinder with water. Okay, and you can put however much water you need to. I would say at least half. Just so that way you have something in there. So as you carefully pour the water in, okay, I poured a little too much. You want to make sure that you can clearly see that number that it stops at. So I put a little more than 4 in there. Okay? Now another tool which you're going to end up doing is you got to look at it at what's called eye level. Now eye level does not just mean that I'm looking at it downward like this. If you notice, downward with my eyes. That's going to tell me a wrong reading. I have to get down just like this so my eyes go straight across and hit. And I can easily see where that line is. Okay? So, if you notice, my graduated cylinder says that right now I have 4 milliliters because this is a 10 milliliter cylinder right up here. So I'm working in milliliters. I have about 4 milliliters. For me to find out how much an object is, I'm going to take my object and I'm going to drop it into the cylinder. And right now, like I said, my initial starting point for my water is at 4. And now that it's in, obviously you can see my Lego head is inside the water. It has risen up to almost 5. So what I'm going to do to find this volume is take that difference from the initial water level, which was 4, to what it is now. Again, getting down on eye level, looking at it straight across, and I have just about to 5. So this object, this Lego head, is about 1 milliliter. Now, how did I come up with 1? It's because I subtracted the final water level from the initial, the starting water level. And that, my friends, that difference is called a displacement. You have found the displacement of water. So with that displacement, you will then have your volume. So right now I have 1 milliliter is the volume for that Lego head. So you can dump that out. And we can try this again. So again, as I fill this up, okay, making sure I'm very careful with it. Now this time I have a different initial starting point of, I'm going to try to aim for 6. Yep, and I'm just about there. So my initial starting point is 6. Let's say I want to find the volume of this bead. Okay. So what I'm going to do is double check to make sure that that initial volume is 6. I'm looking at it at eye level, and it is. I'm going to take my bead, and I'm going to drop it in. Boop. Now, that initial volume of that bead went over the 6. So again, getting down at eye level, I'm at 6.1 is my final water level. And with that, because it's just above the 6, and with that, my displacement would be 6.1 minus 6. And when I found out that, I now know that this bead has a volume of 0.1. And what do we measure in? That's right, milliliters, because this is milliliters. So lastly, we can dump that out. So let's say, for instance, you want to find the volume of another irregular solid object, but it's just too small for this here cylinder. That's okay. If you are going to try this at home, then I have kind of a little bit of a DIY situation going on. What you'll need, though, is a container and fill it with water. Okay? And what you're going to do is get your ruler, your handy dandy ruler, and you're going to measure the water volume. That's in there now to get the how many centimeters you can get. So roughly I have here about 14.2. Okay? And if you need to stick it in to kind of get that same measurement, you can. And look at that. Comes up just right above 14 there. How wet it is. So I have about 14.2 to be more specific, is my water level. Now, if I'm taking, let's say, good old Michelangelo from the Ninja Turtles, and I want to find out how much volume he has, I'm going to stick him into the water. Okay? And when you do this, when you stick him in, you'll start to see that water rise. Okay? But you don't just stick him in halfway and let it go. Because also gravity, if you're putting more force and gravity, that might play a key. You want to push down and then just drop him in. Now, I can take my ruler and again measure out the new level. And again, you want to be on eye level. So if I move this over just a wee bit, kind of look at it at eye level, I'm looking at about 15. Right there, 15 centimeters. So the volume of Michelangelo right now, again as just a quick DIY, is about 1 centimeter. Because you have that displacement of finding the final water level, which again is that 15 centimeters, minus the initial water level, which was 14 centimeters. Okay, so that is how you find the displacement and the volume of irregular solids. I hope you guys found this interesting. I hope you guys had fun with this. I'll see you guys live in a few seconds. Otherwise, I'll see you on video next time. Take it easy.